Hello and welcome to the house garden. Today we're going to show you how to make pears in a medium syrup. You won't believe how easy this is. It's a delicious treat that the whole family will enjoy. For this recipe, we're not going to be canning the pears. We're only going to sweeten them in a medium syrup to be eaten in a shorter amount of time. It's an easy recipe that I know you're going to love. We're going to be using these red pears that we picked up at our local market for a really good price. We have about 3 pounds of pears, but it isn't really important what type that you use. What is important is that the pears aren't fully ripe, so they don't break apart easily when they're cooked. After washing the pears completely, we're going to peel them and then cut them into smaller pieces. For this recipe, we're cutting them in half and removing all the seeds and stems. You can then cut them into quarters or smaller slices. Just remember that the larger pieces will take longer to cook when they're boiled in the syrup. And it's a good idea to have a container of clean cold water to bathe the pears as you are peeling and cutting. Keeping them in water will prevent them from oxidizing and turning brown while you're cutting. Now once you have all the pears peeled and cut, it's time to make the medium syrup. In a large pot, you're going to pour enough water to completely submerge the pears. And for this recipe, we used approximately 2 liters of water. And the type of sugar that you use really depends on your preference. You can use a raw cane sugar, regular processed white sugar, or even brown sugar, whatever your preference is. For the amount of water we're using, we added 1 large cup of regular white sugar and stirred it in completely. You can adjust the amount of sugar to your preferred sweetness for a light or a heavy syrup. To give the syrup some extra flavor, we're also adding in 2 cloves, we're adding a splash of vanilla extract, okay, 2 splashes. We're adding in a splash of agua de azahar, which is orange blossom extract. And then we're also going to add just over a cup of a sweet wine like a port. And you can add or omit any of these ingredients that you want to. And remember, these are your pears. You're going to eat them, so you can add or subtract whatever you want from the syrup. We only add the wine for a little flavor. The alcohol actually evaporates as the syrup boils. And then the last thing we added for a little bit more punch were a few sticks of cinnamon and just a pinch of salt. And once all the ingredients are added, we're going to let the water come to a boil and then start adding in the pears. And we're going to let these pears cook in the syrup for about 30 minutes or until they're tender to the touch. Once they've been in the water for enough time and they're ready, you can turn off the stove, remove the pot from the burner, and prepare to spoon the pears into jars. Now for this next step, you can use any size mason jars that you have. Or you can even use recycled pickle or vegetable jars that you may have in storage or something else on hand. Remember, we're not canning this batch, so the jars don't have to be heat-tempered glass. You're going to want to carefully spoon the pears into the jars, being careful because these are still hot coming out of that boiling syrup. Now, if you are interested in how to can pears with a water bath method, comment below and we'll make another video sharing that process. You can also check out my other videos and see the process we use for canning peaches and mangoes. They're virtually the same process. For this video, we did decide to make them in this manner because we didn't have a large quantity of pears and we knew they wouldn't last very long. So once the pears are in the jars, carefully spoon syrup over them until the jars are full. Cover tightly with your lids and then leave them on the counter until they have cooled enough to be safely put into your refrigerator. You will love the taste of these once they have chilled. And the great part about this is you can enjoy these pears as a snack by themselves. You can scoop them into a bowl with some ice cream and have a great dessert, or you can even slice them up and use them in a pie. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.